Hello and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm back on my main island Moonstone, ready to do a speed build of a new area on this island. Moonstone is very magical and has 5 alts. They're the extra resident characters I created for the story of the island. 4 of them fit in very well and have very obvious magical roles, but the last one wasn't really working out. In fact, I was considering deleting her off the island. See, she had no clear magic. She was a distant cousin to the Able sisters, Fable Able, and a self-proclaimed fashion-obsessed stylist. Though sometimes, her enthusiasm seemed forced. Even Sable had grown weary of it. And finally, one night, Fable confessed that she felt sad a lot and out of place, as if she did not know who she was. She didn't really like fashion at all. In fact, her favorite piece of clothing was an old, moldy dress. I was pretty sure I knew what that meant, and I told her. She was overjoyed, and in finally admitting what she had always secretly hoped, found her magic. She immediately gathered a collection of ingredients and fired up a cauldron. She recited an incantation and began her transformation into a sweet little goblin. She was finally her true self. All of us were so happy for her. So you see, she needs her house area to reflect who she truly is. And this video will be the speed build of her goblin area. This build actually took me almost 3 hours to complete over several days of working on it. It's been a challenge editing it all into a video, especially with it being my first speed build video. So there's no time to dawdle. Let's go build. So this is the area that I had picked to be where I was going to do this build, and my vision was sort of having her house set down in a little tucked away forest area. This is her house. I had already updated it to look kind of goblin-y to me. And so I had imagined the forest would kind of wrap around her house, and I had this original idea of building a bridge on the top, kind of behind at the back, so it would look like she was under a bridge. And then I realized, no, that's trolls. Trolls live under bridges, not goblins. So I scrapped the bridge idea, but I kept the forest wrapping around her house idea, and I wanted it to be down on like the bottom level, and then there could be these higher tiers of trees kind of up all around her house. And over here to the right is where my fairy circle and my fairy forest is, and I actually thought that was kind of neat. There'd be sort of this transition from the light and bright and colorful fairy area over to Fable's area, which is, going to be a little bit darker and a little more muted. And so I thought it was kind of neat that there'd sort of be this ridge of trees up here, and it would sort of transition over to her area. And so anyway, here I am about to get started, and what I need to do is start breaking down these levels so I can get her house down on the bottom and get that set up. And I like the sound of the blocks breaking on the fast speed, so I left that in for a couple seconds. Anyway, we'll just watch me break this down for a little bit and kind of see how I shape out where her area is going to be. And at this point, I was kind of trying to figure out the exact size I was going to need to fit her house in there. And then I figured that was the right size, and it was off to get Fable to move her house. I realized immediately I didn't like it over next to that straight side because I wanted there to be a little bit more room, so that's why I moved it over. And then the first thing I did when I got back the next day was break out a little area over to the side because I just wanted there to be more room to put things and decorate. And then I needed to bring this out a little bit so that I could start planting trees and building up the area behind her house. And I just was starting to plant some trees where I thought I would like some to be. I sort of plant and then I time travel ahead. Oh, I had a couple small ones already in my inventory. And then I time travel ahead and kind of try to figure out what size I want in each spot. I don't usually plan it out ahead. I just kind of go day by day until I like how it's looking. I like the varied look, so I really like to stunt the trees at different sizes to make it look more like a natural forest. So here I was just planting. I kept digging in the wrong spot. Planting trees, and I was like, okay, this seems good. So I went ahead a few different days, and I stunted quite a few of the trees already, and then I wanted to make a little space over here. I didn't like how straight that side was, so I broke that down so I could put a little nook in there. And then I'm starting to lay down some of the pathing. This is actually the path I use throughout most of the island. I have one main path that I use. I have a lot of different themed magical areas on the island to go with my other alts, and if I had a different path for each area, I just don't have enough design slots for that many paths, so I just have the main one that I use everywhere. And then I started doing up a little garden area. I never plan things out, which I think is why it takes me so long to do things, because I really just kind of decide as I go. So then I was dropping some mushrooms, planting some pumpkins, making it look like a little garden, a little water pump, and then throwing some decorations down. I had that little stone line. I thought it looked a little bit like a gargoyle too. But ultimately I moved it out of that area and decided to put it up here because that seemed more gargoyle-like to have it up kind of perched somewhere. And then quite a lot of the mush items for her area, because just mushrooms seem like they really fit her goblin personality. I started planting a couple weeds. I knew I wanted to make it look very overgrown, so I was going to plant lots of weeds everywhere, plant some more weeds. And then I put down some invisible tiles to keep the weeds from spreading. I do that with weeds and flowers so that I can have things exactly where I want them. Then I needed to get this water out of the way, so I moved it. And I actually moved the museum because it was in the way. And I realized too that I really wanted this area to come out much further, so it really was wrapping around her house. So I started to build it out, and then I had to move a bunch of those items you see off to the left to make it fit. So I edited out all of that part because that was kind of boring. And then I started to build the third tier, and I was going to go around this tree. And then I realized that the tree really needed to be up on the third tier, so I dug it up. Up, put the tree up there, and then I built it out all the way to the end, planted the trees, and I realized pretty quickly that I don't like how these 3 trees are in a straight line. That just doesn't work for me. So I moved a bunch of the items to the left again and brought that side out on the bottom and then the third tier, and then I moved that one tree over so it wasn't in the straight line. And then I went ahead a couple days and got all the trees grown and I placed that stone line over there. I wanted them to match on either side. Started just placing a bunch of things. I had a lot of those tall garden rocks that I placed around. And then I moved that tree over and kind of just fussed around with these things, moved some things around. I was trying to put up my stone arch. It's actually on the path there, which I didn't realize right away. I will be fixing that in a little bit. And then I wanted to put a little pattern down on the dirt for the garden to put the mushrooms on, just to give it a little more depth. And I realized that I did not like that dark one, so I changed it to the other one. And these are things I have also on my farm area. So I liked how that looked. Then I put a garden rock here. I don't know. I changed that later. More weeds in the front. And more invisible tiles. Hello, Rosie. All of my residents have a bike by their house, so I had to give her her bike. Really, I'm just really... Oh, this is when I realized that the path was right where the stone arch was, so I straightened out the path. I like the curvy path, but it really needed to be straight here so that the stone arch, so go right through there like that. Oh, and I realized that that partition was the same color as the other one. I wanted to put different colors, and then I realized that was the same color, so I put different color up there. Really now I'm just kind of put a bird bath. I don't know. I changed that. That doesn't really make any sense, but I was just trying a bunch of things. And then I started planting some flowers. I was mainly planting green and yellow. Kept trying to put that pumpkin in that area, and it just doesn't let you because it's too close to the house. So finally I just went and put it on the barrel in the back. That seems like a better spot. Alright, and here I am. I'm just putting more tall rocks. Trying to get them right in the spot I want. Putting down some weeds. Oh, and then I finally got the little hand cart instead of the bird bath, which was a much better fit for the area. And then I think I realized that I wanted the barrel height-wise was going to look better behind the hand cart, so I swapped them around. And then I wanted to put some more pathing around here since I couldn't put items down on the ground. I really wanted that space to not just look so blank, so I filled that in. And then I go around and plant some more yellow flowers and place some mush stools. And then after I get that all done, oh yeah, and then those 2 mush stools were the same color, so I changed that one to a dark brown one, and then I went and moved this one. And I realized that the little stone path going around the well would look kind of cute, so filled that in. Oh, put a little leaf pile down. I love those. Alright, now I'm planting some bushes. I think I'm using the yellow tea olive bush, which was just a good color. It actually blooms at this time, and it just really worked well with the kind of color palette I was using for her area. So I go around and plant bushes in various spots. And again, I just kind of put them where I feel like they go. I don't have a particular plan when I start. I just kind of feel it out as I go. Alright, planted some more yellow flowers, and then I started just filling in the rest of the areas with weeds. So there'd be these sort of yellow and green accent flowers, and then weeds, and then more invisible tiles to keep them from spreading over to the fairy circle area. And I kept picking up that mush partition by accident. I was trying to move those weeds so I could put the stool there. Oh, and then, of course, what every good goblin build needs is a prehistoric monument. So I placed Stonehenge. Actually, I think it looks pretty neat. But the museum was in the way, and I really just needed to get that museum out of the way so I could really, kind of look at the whole build and see how it looked without buildings blocking it. So I go and move the museum way far out of the way, and then I go ahead a few days, and that gets the museum gone, and also all of the bushes can be fully flowering and get the full effect, all the weeds grown in, and that's what I do. And at that point, the build is pretty much done. Oh, and I decorated the fairy circle half of that top ridge between the two areas. I did do that off screen. But overall, I really like how this build turned out. I think Fable likes it too. It was definitely out of my comfort zone since I usually use a lot of bright colors and no weeds, but I really wound up liking this overgrown, lush kind of look, so it was lots of fun. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment if you have any questions or suggestions about the build, and if you would like to see me do more speed builds on my channel. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!